All right, all right, all right. Happy Friday, everyone. I look forward to giving you an excellent presentation today, following up to our first hour, part one of introducing you to Fortune is in the follow-up. So we covered a lot of information on the first hour. And so here in the second hour, we want to take that and pour rocket fuel on it. And just as a general reminder, here is essentially my core system that I use inside of my sales training list building. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So on the first hour, we covered how to have a sales champion mindset. We didn't go into too much goal setting, but we are going to talk a little bit about that today because I want to, give you some marching orders, give you some tangible like homework or a challenge for you to keep moving forward with this information, and not just, hopefully you don't just attend this and you say, oh, that was good. That was great. Good information, Lois. Thanks so much. But hopefully you actually go out and apply one or two things, one or two nuggets that you pull from today. And of course, the first hour, we also covered about time management, creating leverage. I do believe in balance, and part of my passion, part of my why, my driving force behind teaching list building and follow-up techniques in this new normal is because I believe life was meant to be created by design. Jim Rohn said it, do you want to make a living, or do you want to create a life by design? And then we talked about on how to attract a tribe, how to lead generate when you can't now go and do face-to-face, belly-to-belly networking. It's different, right? And there's a lot of people who were never really trained, or it was not a habit, right? That's what I really want to keep that drumbeat here today is, have you built habits? Now, as we're at the time of this recording, if you're watching the replay, we're almost to the end of January, right? And what is January known for? New Year's resolutions. And I know a lot of people say they don't believe in New Year's resolutions, they don't set them, but at the same time, it's been so ingrained in a lot of people that it's easy to set something at the beginning of January. And because it was maybe too much of a commitment and you didn't have the muscle developed, right? Just like when I trained my marathon runners and I did Ironman triathlons and stuff like that. When I went from running to swimming, oh my gosh, that was a whole new muscle. In fact, to be totally transparent with you, I hated it. The only reason I did swimming was because it was the first part of a triathlon, swimming, then biking, and then running. So I hired a coach to help me get better at swimming. And it took me all of the 13 weeks that I trained for that Ironman, my first Ironman triathlon. I had a 13-week training plan, which not by accident is a lot like my 12-week year training that I do with my clients and my group coaching. It takes that long, you guys. It doesn't take 21 days to make a habit. It takes a full 12, sometimes even multiple 12-week years to get that ability to say, yes, I can now complete that Ironman. Or in this case, yes, I can now complete that email list, that tribe, that I build it. They love me. I love them. I give value. And guess what? In exchange for that value, because I have so much to give with your products and services, right? They spend money with you, and the money doesn't come just from a sales call anymore. It's now coming in on an almost daily basis. That's my goal for this year. Just sharing with you, last year, I was able to get it from $0 a day to almost $100 every other day. Now I'm like, I want money coming in $100 every day through my tribe, through my email list, through my podcast, all of those ways that I'm choosing to build relationships online in this new normal. So we talked a lot about that on the first hour. Now today we're focusing on how do you follow up with people and building a follow-up plan to get you to that next level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you, if I'm going to jump ahead, one of the frameworks that I teach, one of the philosophies that I use, and there's different philosophies out there, but how do you go from, having that tribe, having that Facebook group, just as a general reminder, we talked about building a tribe through all of these different mechanisms. And I am going to make that bigger so you guys can see it. So this is what we talked about the other day. And I said, don't do them all. Your homework, and hopefully you wrote this down on the first hour. If not, please write it down now. What are you committed to piquing people's interest, having your voice heard online? Is it YouTube? Is it your Facebook? And it could be a fan page or groups. I'm actually now partial to groups more so than fan page, but you can have one or the other. StreamYard, Zoom webinars, joint venture, lead generation. I'm going to touch on that a little bit more deeply today. And then of course, you guys saw all these, we talked all about them in the first hour. So I'd love for you, since we have people here on the live, go ahead and drop in the comments which one or two of these places or types of lead generation online are you going to commit to for 2021 or for the next 12 weeks. So go ahead, put in the chat just so I know where you guys are focusing on your online lead generation. So go ahead and drop that in the chat. Awesome. Okay, cool. We got YouTube, we got Facebook, we got LinkedIn. The cool thing I will tell you about Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, the combo, the trifecta, I use those too. And you can so multi-purpose all of those things. Like I live stream through my Facebook group and actually multiple groups as part of my JV component. But then I can also live stream into YouTube simultaneously. So I save a lot of time, and then I can repurpose that YouTube video over and over again. A lot of, well, I know at least one of you, I shouldn't, no, two of you here know and love, just like I do, Eric Lofholm. He really blew my mind with how much content he had in YouTube. And then how did he repurpose that? So I'm going to show you, and this is part of my list build course, part of my fortunes and the follow-up course. This is my EIEIO strategy. Now, some of you, this may be your first time hearing it. Others of you, maybe not. But so I'm going to have you, oops, there goes that. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. So it all starts in that first contact. And I love the movie Jerry Maguire. Back in the 90s, I think, I can't remember anymore. You had me at hello. You know, the first things first is you're showing up with positive energy. You know, they want to fall in love with you. You know, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And remember, you're not trying to win everyone, right? You can't work with everyone, and you can't work with anyone. You want to target those areas that your dream customer is in, which your Facebook, LinkedIn was the most common one that was put in the chat. And that has really done very, very well for me. So this is perfect for you guys to consider using this. So EIEIO, and I know you're thinking Old MacDonald had a farm, right? And I actually didn't think about that when I created the acronym. But here's the cool thing. When you think of farming, right? I grew up on a farm. You know, you have to plant the seeds, you have to till the soil, you have to water the ground, the earth, there's sunshine, there's pulling the weeds. Again, Jim Rohn talks about sowing and reaping. And so this is a part of your sowing and seed planting. And if you do it right, once you get to the O, you will be profitable. I want you to write that down. Once you get to the O in my philosophy of lead generation and conversion follow-up, you will be profitable. So let's start. The E can actually stand for a couple different things. E stands for, first and foremost for me, is educate and engage. Educate and engage. So what does that mean and how does that fit? Okay, so first and foremost, when you are doing your YouTube channels, your Facebook lives, you're going on Facebook and LinkedIn, you might be putting a post, right? You might be posting something that is going to educate or engage. I do a lot of, I'll give you some examples and I want you to think how you could convert this to your business. I do a lot of coaching and free education and engagement around lead management, lead generation. I also do a lot around time management. So I'm always thinking of ways that I can give value for free up front, piquing people's interest through the free education and engaging conversation questions. So a great example I did the other day that ended up giving me about 50 comments. And if I get time, I'll show you Facebook. I don't always like to show Facebook because it might be a privacy concern for someone in this free forum. Inside of my private paid coaching group, I do show these examples in real time. But I did a post of, if you could improve your time management, what's the number one thing you would like to see improved? That was one example. And I got about 10 or 11 comments from people and about, 10 or 11 likes. It was an engagement question. And then I went and replied to all of the comments on that post. And you could do this on LinkedIn or Facebook. I'm just using Facebook as an example because that's my number one place to play. I'd actually reply to them and maybe give them a free tip, depending on what they said. If someone said, oh my gosh, if I could solve my homeschooling and trying to work from home and trying to have a healthy marriage and life and workout and, right? That would be amazing. And I would reply, hey, oh my gosh, I can totally relate with that because I have 2 kids at home, wasn't trained to be a homeschooling mom, right? It just sort of happened all of a sudden.
Doesn't have to happen, honey.
Okay, guys, remember to stay on mute. That would be great. That would be awesome. We'll open it up at the end for questions and thoughts. Okay. So being able to relate and connect with people, I'm not trying to coach her until she's wrong. Okay. That doesn't work on Facebook, right? People aren't open to listen because they maybe don't know me, right? I'm relating, I'm connecting, and I might even say something like, if she replies to me and connects again, I might even say, hey, have you ever thought about this? Depending on how the conversation goes, right? I'm not trying to force myself on people. Remember, we're trying to pull people in, add value to their life, and then take the conversation into Facebook Messenger or LinkedIn Messenger. And I have a script for that I'm going to show you. So again, the EIEIO can be used on Facebook to pull people in and add friends. It can be also the same for LinkedIn. And the other thing you can do is pull people into your YouTube channel, since that was one of those that are mentioned, and this is what I do on a regular basis, is actually go ahead and say, hey, do you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel? I have some free information on XYZ. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but that is a way you want to make sure your YouTube channel also follows this EIEIO and your email campaigns. I know not everyone has an email campaign. I asked that question on Wednesday, and that's okay. It's all perfect. I know for me, that's one of my number one ways to bring in income is my email campaigns. But at the very least, Facebook, LinkedIn, educate and engage. The second letter, I, is inspire. It could also be intrigue. I like inspiration because guess what? People are hungry for that right now. People are looking for leadership. They're looking for positivity. And we know that there has been a lot of, can be a negativity on Facebook. That's where you find out who you really want to have as friends on your Facebook. I personally now have gotten to a point where I'm focused on Facebook is a business channel for me. LinkedIn is a business channel for me. YouTube is a business channel for me. And I want to find my dream customers, my connections, my referral partners. I'm not necessarily just there for chit chat and friendships. Okay. But that's just me. That was a paradigm shift I had last year in 2020 because people are looking for inspiration and positive business leaders. So think of an inspirational post. You could maybe have a quote. Like I love Jim Rohn, Oprah, different thought leaders that resonate with me. That also shows, you could say I also stands for interests. If you have common interests with people, like I'll post things about Prince because I'm a huge Prince fan. And that actually connects people who are also Prince fans. Keeping in mind, I know my ideal customer is usually in their 40s maybe late 30s, but for sure 40s to 50s. All of us grew up with Prince, or all of us know of Prince because maybe our parents, played it a lot. So think of inspiration, think of interests. These are the kind of posts you want to put out there. And again, I'm going to show you how to do this and navigate. If they like or comment, you can do a couple of different things. Again, you can reply to them. That's part of the engagement, right? You can also add them as a friend. And I'm going to explain the process of what that looks like in permission-based marketing, not just cold calling people and friending anybody and everybody, right? Because people don't like that. It's been overdone. So then that was, again, inspiration posts, posting about your interests, things of that nature. Then the second E is entertain. If you are, I have some clients who are really, really funny, or they're musical, or they really love to do, kind of like improv Facebook lives about their day-to-day, right? Like some of my clients who are moms, they might have those fun videos that are just like, oh my gosh, like I did a post the other day, and it was a combination of interest, because I'm a mom, and connecting with other moms around my age. They would comment, right? And it was also a combination of entertainment. My daughter had a dental emergency, right? And so we were up half the night. So being able to post about that, and you can perceive entertainment, whatever that means to you, but having some way of showing your humorous side, your fun side. I think we all have some fun inside of us, right? Business isn't always so serious. People can connect with you in that way. And keep in mind, you can do EIE how many ever times as you want. Sometimes people will post and set a goal. Like, let's say you want to make 5 connections a day. Maybe you do 2 posts a day that are under the EIE, and then you get the comments, you engage, and then you get them off into Facebook Messenger. And I'm going to coach you on that next. So you can post 3 times a day and use educate, interest or inspiration, entertain. So that could be part of your daily business plan for lead generation. Okay. And again, I go over all this in my list build course and at a deeper level, and give you homework and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to write that down and think, what could I do? And it could be just Monday through Friday. I'm not going to tell you to work 7 days a week or work weekends. That's entirely up to you. I do know that a lot of people have said, and I've experienced this, that sometimes I will go on LinkedIn on Saturdays, because that's when most CEOs, business owners, managers, leaders, potentially your prospects, your ideal customers, are replying on LinkedIn. So that's a tip that I've learned that is accurate. So budget your time, like we talked about in the first hour. When are you going to do these posts? I block out 15-minute windows. I go inside of 5 different groups throughout the week. In fact, truth be told, I did that. And then I found, how much time it took. I outsourced it to my personal assistant. So a lot of my posts now actually aren't me. I outsourced it to my VA. So there's different things and ways that you can do that. But I do encourage you to do this yourself first, and then you can grow. You can grow from there. So then the last 2, the I and the O, these are where the magic are at. This is where, if you've read Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, Jab, Right Hook, it's basically give, ask, or offer. Give, ask. Now, in this case, I have EIE are 3 components, right? So I believe in giving a little bit more before asking. So the I being the 4th way of exposing to either the same person or your group of people on Facebook or LinkedIn, the I is invitation. This was an invitation. I invited you to get a free training and coaching and a sneak peek into my Fortunes in the Follow-Up and List Building to Freedom program. So What can you do to invite people? Do you have webinars planned for 2021? Do you also could use that as an invitation to your YouTube channel? Could be an invitation to your Facebook community. Could be an invitation to, if you haven't already done it, your email list. So write down what kind of methodologies can you invite people to take a look at what you had to offer. Another one, which we talked about on the first hour, was a lead magnet on a landing page. Maybe you have a free consultation. And I'm going to talk about the dance of how to get to that as well after we finish with this, but you're inviting them to take a look at something. Then the O is offer. So I'll give you some examples. If someone comes into my email campaign, and some of you have already gone through my welcome email campaign, some of you maybe are just coming through it. And if you haven't seen it, let me know. But by the 5th email, I follow this in my welcome series. I educate and say, hey, welcome to my email campaign. This is what you will expect from me in an educational way. Second one is I inspire them with a story. And again, you can write this down and I'll get the recording out today. And just so you know, this is going to be in my YouTube channel. The first hour is also in my YouTube channel, so it's already there. So you can go to my YouTube channel and find both of these videos. But the third one is I engage them. I forgot to the E is entertain or engage, and that can go, concurrently. You can swap the E, the first E and the third E. I engage them in a survey of what are they hoping to learn? What are their challenges when it comes to online sales and lead generation? And then the fourth one, I invite them to take a look at both my podcast and my 5 Secrets to Selling Success. And then at the end of that, I have an offer. And I even give them a coupon code to take action on my offer right there in that 5th email. And you can do that on Facebook Messenger if you don't have an email list. You could do that in your YouTube channel. You could follow those different videos. And by the 5th video, you're making an offer. You can mix it up and you could do like my coaches. Most of you who know Eric Lawful, but I also have another coach, Jamie Atkinson. I've studied a lot of online marketers. They'll be giving the I and the O, the last 2, every other day because they are so seasoned. But I'm encouraging you, if you're just starting out with this and you've never done anything this structured, which will make you more money, by the way. If you just go into Facebook every day and you're like, I'll just post this, not really knowing what you're doing, same thing with LinkedIn, same thing with Instagram, you're not going to make money, right? People need to see you consistently using the EIAO and they're going to buy from you by the time they get to the O, because you've given, offered, asked, and closed the deal. Now I'm going to go ahead and minimize the screen here. Let me grab my script. So how do you follow up with someone, right? How do you engage in a conversation when someone likes or comments on your post? I did another one the other day, said if you could talk about one thing, this is a post on Facebook, if you could talk about one thing forever, what would it be? I got about 50 comments on it. I'm still going through and having the replies and seeing who would be a possible ideal customer. Because again, not everyone is going to be an ideal customer. So what the heck is going on here? Okay. All right, I lost you guys for a second. So here's what I do. This is my process. So permission-based marketing script. So ultimately, I don't just add anyone into my Facebook group. I don't add just anyone into my email list. I don't just, spam people with my landing page. I have seen a lot of that. in 2020. In fact, if someone sends you a link without your permission, refer them to me. It's very, very popular in network marketing, especially. You want to just be a human, guys. I had my brother died last February, and someone in a network marketing company who I talked to before, but I didn't express any interest in his opportunity. He went for the jugular and sent me a bunch of messages, videos of his company, joined my team. And I finally replied after 2 or 3 messages. Hey, I'm going through a rough time right now. I really, I appreciate it, but thanks, but no thanks. And he didn't even ask how I was doing. He didn't act like a human, right? So please remember that you don't know what's going on the other side of that person's life. They maybe just got diagnosed with COVID, right? They maybe just had to put their pet down. They maybe just had an argument with their spouse or their business partner. They maybe got up off the wrong side of the bed. And I've even had that where I've even done the right things and still someone was a little cranky, right? It's like when I used to do cold calling and would reach out to people, they weren't always wanting to talk, right? So a lot of people even suspect that you might have an agenda. So you got to do the dance. You got to build the trust and rapport, form enough of the relationship first. Again, how to win friends and influence people. So this is how I do it and how I went from 0 people in my email list to almost 4,000. And how I went from no Facebook community I didn't start it until July last year, to 700 people in my Facebook community was this. So I'll go back. Remember, I've replied on their comments on my posts. And then I'll send them, if I like what they're saying, if I check their profile and I'm like, you know what? This person totally looks like they could be a dream customer or a dream referral partner. I look at people as one of 2 things. Either you're going to be my customer or you're going to love me and I'm going to be your online sales trainer, podcaster, whatever it is that resonates with them, they're going to want to refer people to me, which is why I have an affiliate program so people can get paid for their referrals. So that's my mindset. Remember, that's very, very important, is the mindset. So if I like what I see on their profile, if they look like a possible, prospect, I send them the friend request. Again, this is after I've replied on their comments, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn. I'll private message at the same time I send them a friend request. Same thing on LinkedIn, guys. I don't always accept friend requests or LinkedIn requests if there's no memo added. Because then I'm like, well, what do they want? Who are they? Why should I care? Right? It's not a popularity contest. It's sorting and sifting and making sure that your tribe is worthy of you. And if you find out otherwise, you can always unfriend them, right? So I private message them into response to their comment on my EIEI post. And I say, hello, Bob or John or Susie. I always coach that putting that name up there is a really good idea. It's a really, really good idea. I don't know if you put yourself in their shoes, it looks like you just copied and pasted something if you don't say their name. And that's definitely an obvious sign that you're not really caring about them and trying to form a relationship with them. It's just another number or notch on your belt that day. So hello, Susie, thank you so much for your comment on my post. And then what I've done, I've learned this somewhat the hard way, and I really, really want you to remember this element. I'll even take a screenshot of their comment and send it along with the message, because I do believe in really, really time blocking and not getting sucked into Facebook. And so in fact, some of my bait posts are through my platform, Now Site. If you guys know Now Site, quite a few of you do, I post their Now Site. So then I can leave Facebook, right? My post is done, and then I'll come back later in the day. I'll spend about 15 minutes posting in the morning, or some, my VA, right, will be doing it. But then I come back again, a 15, sometimes 30-minute window. If I get a lot of comments, I'll take 30 minutes. So I kind of have a buffer. So please put this on your time schedule, your time use. If you're serious about building a list, building a tribe, building a following, and then having the fortunes in the follow-up, meaning the income, the goals, the dreams, the people that know and love you and are part of, your success, right? You want to make sure you time block. And I recommend the consistent times each day, just like working out. When I was coaching those thousands of runners and athletes and health and fitness people, your body craves structure, your mind craves structure. And it helps also if people even start seeing you on at the same time of day. It's really just a cool thing. So pick your 2 time blocks a day where you post, and then your second one where you come back and you engage in those conversations. And then knowing that they might have commented either several hours before, or they don't know you yet. Remember, these are new leads, and there may be some past leads, right? Ultimately, what you're going to do is say, hey, this is where you commented. Do you remember? It's a memory jogger for them, because they may not even remember that they commented on your post. And then, of course, I ask, how are you? Because again, remember, someone could have just died. They could have just had an argument. You kind of want to know what their headspace is like. And they may not get it until later, and that's fine too. But even then, if I get a really long message from someone that I don't know, remember, keep in mind, I have other canned messages that I send. Like right now, I'm sending out messages because next week is my 100th episode of my podcast. I'm going to be giving away 2 $5,000 coaching packages. I want everybody inside of my community to come and invite friends. So asking for referrals is also part of my plan. So they all know me. So I'm going to send, hey, did you know? Copy and paste. You guys, if you're in my Facebook community, you're going to probably get that message between now and Monday or Tuesday. So that's different. But again, these are cold leads, cold prospects, cold connections that you got to warm up first, right? So asking how they're doing. I also will even throw in a second question, depending on what time of year it is. Right now, at the time of this recording, it's January. So what are you most excited about this year ahead? That's my question. Maybe you have another one. Use your own voice, right? I don't believe in scripts are important, right? But if it doesn't sound like you, it could catch up with you later. And then after I get their responses, you'll see the last thing there in bold print is ask about their comment on my post. And I may say something like, hey, I have a question about what you said on my post. I don't have that written there, so you may want to write that down. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question about what you said in my post. So in the example, I'll give you a couple examples. In the example of the time management stuff, I have a lead magnet and a landing page and an welcome email campaign for them to come into, right? So I want to get their permission to send them that free resource. But first, I want to discover what are their pain points. So in my slide above or below, here we go. I'm looking for their pain points. And then I'm going to throw in how I can help. So in sales, online or offline is still the same. He or she who asks the most questions has the most influence and the most trust developed fast. If you're just vomiting and spewing facts and data and you're not listening after you've asked, a very strategic question, of course, it's not just chit chat. I already did the chit chat. See, this was the chit chat. Now we're getting down to brass tacks. I'll say, tell me more about what you have going on with your kids at home. What's going on? And believe it or not, even though that can be perceived as a personal question, because they've I followed this process, right? They saw my post. I did an exchange, very positive, supportive, not trying to necessarily hit them with a bunch of coaching tips, right? Because they haven't given me permission to do that yet. It's inside of private messenger where the magic happens. And so I've gotten their answers, and that might also tell me too, if I want to keep going, if their responses are extremely negative, or maybe they throw back some of their politics at me or their whatever at me, I might be like, do I want to keep going in this conversation? So that also helps protect you, these front leading questions. But then I get down to business and I self-discover through questions, would they be a good client for me? And through the dance, if I can, I'll give them that lead magnet. If they give me permission, I'll say, is it okay if, keeping it very, very simple. And they say yes, then I sign them up for that lead magnet. They come into my email list. They're a part of my tribe now. If they're not interested in the lead magnet, the other option, if again, I like what I see and hear from them and they seem like someone I can help. Again, I'm not trying to serve everyone and anyone. I ask them to join my Facebook community. You could do the same thing on LinkedIn. You can create a LinkedIn group. I have never done that. I've been a part of groups, so I can't really speak to success, but I've had massive success in other people's Facebook groups. And then of course, in creating mine. So I'm going to stop share. I have one more thing to coach you on, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end after I also share with you more about my program. So I've got maybe another 10 minutes tops, and then we'll go from there. All right. Okay, so now you get them into your email list if you have one. You get them into your Facebook group if you have them. If you don't have one of those things, build it in 2021. Build it and they will come. Got to be intentional. Got to believe in it. You've got to want to and see the why behind it. And I covered a lot of that in the first hour. But then you got to follow up, right? No different than when I went to in-person networking meetings, when I met people at the grocery store, at the bank, out in the community. I got them into my CRM back in what I call the old days of pre-pandemic, right? Now I get them into my email campaign. So maybe you have a CRM. If you don't have a Facebook group or you don't have an email list yet, remember I didn't have one a year ago either, so I totally get it. But you want to get them into your CRM. And then you want to have a systematic follow-up. And if you're like, Lois, I don't have a CRM yet, you can use Excel spreadsheet. Okay, there's different ways to do it. So if you remember, we have 5 to 12 touches in order to create that sale. That's why hidden element, that's why in my EIEIO philosophy of farming and closing the deal by that 5th touch, that O, in a perfect world, they're either spending money with me or they're referring people to me. Because I know I'm an expert and I can help people and I want to win them over into referring to me. So I have a system that I built way back 20 years ago when I was in real estate that still works today, guys. And in fact, it's how I made multiple 5 figures last year and helped other clients get to 4 figures a month through all of these methodologies, even with email campaigns, even with Facebook groups. So if you ever saw the movie Shawshank Redemption, I don't know if you can really see that very well. Morgan Freeman was the guy who could get things for people in prison. It's crazy. Everybody knew him as the expert, right? So through my process, again, winning a customer or winning a referral partner, I'm still looking at, I got to have at least 5 touches. So I take them through my EIEO process, but what else do I do? You don't want to stop there, right? Because again, it may not be their timing. Sales is not about pushing people. It's about inspiring them to take action with your product or service in their timing. because we know when you've seen, people don't like the word sales, or they think of a sleazy car salesman. It's because people didn't do it with excellence. And that's what I want to inspire you guys to do, is to follow up with excellence. So this was my 8x8 campaign example. And now I use it mostly a little bit differently, but these were the things that I did for 20 years, guys. That made me multiple six figures in real estate, six figures in fitness, health, nutritional products, direct marketing, or network marketing, direct sales. Those are the primary industries that I've been in. And the 8x8 was something that I learned. And if you were ever in real estate, you may have heard this story. There was a study done, this is long, I think it was in the 90s, before the do not call list. So keep that in mind. But they did a really cool study on a subdivision of about 200-300 homes. And they created a fictitious real estate agent. They sent a postcard, not even a phone call yet, right? It was just direct mail pieces with this picture of this smiling, happy real estate agent. The home he supposedly just sold, market analysis, data from the neighborhood, again, always with his picture, right? He branded himself, this John Doe real estate agent, had a brand and a positive connection with this subdivision over 8 weeks. So 8 weeks straight, this big old direct mail postcard, which still happens, right? I still get some of that. I still do some snail mail stuff with prospects as well. Not as much as I used to, but ultimately on that 9th week, when the study folks called and said, hey, whoever they, got on the phone, 80% of them said, when asked, who would you hire as your real estate agent today, if you were going to sell your home? And 80% of them said John Doe. He had a different name. I don't remember what it was. So he or she who follows up the most in a compressed time frame and stays visible and credible, which again, email, Facebook group, YouTube, LinkedIn, you gotta, don't do them all right away. You can, I would pick one and maybe specialize in it, but you're going to get the sales. Again, you got to believe you're the expert, have value, give value in a structured way. And oftentimes I would meet a stranger and have a sale within 4 weeks. If I did the 8 touches in that 4-week time, or 8 weeks, just depended on their timing. I was a top recruiter in network marketing. One year I recruited 70 people. 65 of them were total strangers. But I used this philosophy. You'll see call in the first 48 hours, welcome email, item of value, could be an inspirational email. I'm using the EIEIO as an example, but your item of value could go in the mail. You could do a webinar. You could do a lead magnet. I'm just using, this is just one example. In my course, I help you create your own 8x8 campaign. And here's the good news, guys. You create this once and it's done. Your email campaign example, if you have like automated direct mail pieces, if you have lead generation time right here, you can't see it very well, but this is, yeah, you can't see it very well at all. There you go. This is my lead generation and prospecting sheet. That is one of my lead magnets. Because most people struggle. They always say, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough leads and I don't know how to follow up. Well, guess what? Insert Lois. Hey, I'm here. These are my free tools for you to use. And then I follow up because again, like I shared in the last slide, I understood their pain points. They saw something, they heard something on my YouTube channel, or they saw something on Facebook, or they heard something in my podcast, or they heard something. I've had a lot of people when you, just so you know, be ready for this, and lean into your greatness on this. When you start sharing yourself out there, you might have people say, yeah, I heard you say that on a webinar. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea who you are. And that is when you know you have influence and you have won friends and inspired people to live their best life. And your products and service can be a part of how they can be living their best life. So you got to believe that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop for that for 1 second. I'd encourage you, this is your homework, okay? Do on your own time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, sit with, how am I going to follow up? And is it a combination of, like I shared above, old school phone calls, text? Some people do text campaigns. I personally don't. I can, because my NowSite platform has that. I just haven't gotten into it yet because it's a new thing. You know, once you find something that works, and again, it could take you that 90-day, that 12-week time frame to really get this solid. And then you keep testing and tweaking and testing and tweaking and testing and tweaking. So take some time and write out, how am I going to touch these people? And again, I am encouraging you, use some of the EIEIO and decide, how are you engaging them? Is it through email? Is it through Facebook Messenger? Is it through LinkedIn Messenger? I know LinkedIn has a tool you can purchase called Sales Navigator. To be honest with you, I've never used it. I use my virtual assistants for a lot of my 8x8 now, but I started without a virtual assistant and I mastered it. Once you get it down and you test it and the sales start coming in, that's when you could delegate it. And if you need a referral, I have an amazing virtual assistant agency. They're actually, I might have quoted $6 last time. They did just raise their prices for brand new people. And in this year, it's $7.25 an hour, but still, they're amazing. They're trained, they're college educated. All you have to do is master this follow-up process and delegate it. All right. One other thing I'm going to show you that really helps, that can also be part of your process, is asking for referrals. Do you ask for referrals from your existing clients? Do you ask for referrals regularly? Make a note of that, because in this day and age, especially if you're not used to cold calling or cold leads through online, it can be a little intimidating, right? But I guarantee you, if you use what I coached in this, and please watch this over and over, the referrals will start coming in. And if you have the ability to, creating an affiliate rewards program or a referral rewards program. I'm doing a lot of JV and affiliate partnerships now where we pay each other for successful referrals. It's just, keep that, if that overwhelms you, just keep that in your back pocket for maybe next year. But asking for a referral is free. Asking for a referral is a system. System stands for save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. Imagine if you have leads coming in every day through your referral sources, your referral partners. Because again, even if that person comes through, like any of you guys, even if you didn't become a paying client, I would love to earn your business. And if you ever know someone who's struggling with online sales, list building, and follow-up techniques, they don't have enough time or leads, they're overwhelmed, I would love to be applying for the job to help them. That's how I've been super duper successful, even with zero experience of online marketing. So I want to close before I open it up for Q&A. We'll take about 5 minutes on my program, and how, if you choose to, if you saw value in the first hour and this second hour, and keep in mind, I did a 30,000 foot overview. I've given you the tools. Please don't have wasted these 2 hours or however many times you watch them, because they're there forever. Like I said, on YouTube, you can go to my YouTube channel and find the first hour. Have the second hour up there today. And again, I will email it out to those of you who were a part of this. But you got to go out and do it on your own. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but I believe that no one succeeds alone. truly. And I know I shared with you, and some of you have invested in my $37 list build course, which is fantastic. That's also a do-it-yourself program. And I know last year I tried to do it myself. I did. And I tried to do it with a lot of the free resources. And I know Eric Lofholm gives a lot of free resources, my podcast coach, but I was like, no, I need hand holding. I need someone to show me the way and to literally tell me what to do. Not just give me the information, but actually show me what to do step by step and hold me accountable. Because left to my own devices, and yeah, I know this is going to sound crazy because I've done Ironman triathlons. I've coached thousands of people in health, fitness, and in business and sales. I'm still human, right? Put my pants on the same way. I've had family members die last year. I've gone through loss and grief, and that monkey mind can still cause me to look 5,000 other ways instead of focusing on the main thing, the purpose of what I want to do for me, which is provide for my family, give away 50% of my income to mental health and suicide awareness, and to make a difference in this world. I'm not just here to make a living. I'm here to design a life for myself, my family, and everyone that I meet. So if you see value and you see that, gosh, Lois, I can't do this on my own. I want to build my email list to 1,000 this year. I know it's going to take time. And I will tell you, it's not easy doing it by yourself. That's why I hired coaches. That's why launching my podcast, if I didn't have my coach cheering me on every step of the way, I would have quit. If I didn't study my Facebook groups of my coaches before I created mine, I wouldn't have done it. And I wouldn't have made the multiple 5 figures. I was able to take time off at Christmas. I was able to give money away. I was able to enjoy my family more with my kids and my husband, actually, not just because we were all, living at home, right? You can be living in the same house and not really be, enjoying life together, right? Because you're working all the time, you're stressing about money, you're getting up early, working late. To me, that's not a life. At least that's my perspective. So if you see value and you want to go a little bit further with me, I have a Fortunes in the Follow-Up Mastery course on how to monetize your list, your tribe. Even if you don't have a list, remember that's okay. There's no other course out there like this that's done with you to get you to where you want to go. So if you want to change your life for the better, if you want to build a list or a tribe and monetize it and make money while you sleep, I have this course designed specifically for that. I work with a lot of coaches and healers. So I don't know where all of you guys are at in your journey of business. Anyone who has struggled with offline to online conversion could benefit from this course. I'm going to help you create lead magnets. I'm going to help you create webinars if that's what you want to do. Again, everybody's in a different space. If you need that accountability to get that YouTube channel done, but then how to use the EIEIO and follow up with excellence using the scripts that we went over today so that you can get people into your funnel and create those sales and work less, right? So we started already this month, but you get 2 hours a week of live coaching. You can still jump in next week. We actually officially started this week on the 19th. 2 hours every week. You also get all of my email campaigns sent to you, which helped me create over $35,000 in income in a very short period of time last year. Learn how to build your free offer, your EIEIO, your lead magnets, give value, and close more sales in less time. If you use NowSite, there's actually a $100 discount. If you haven't already got a platform, you can consider that. So the value is over $8,000. And I'll send you guys this link. We kicked off officially this week. Last week was actually a bonus week. So it's a 4-week program for $9.97. If you were to sign up today, regardless of NowSite, I'd give you an extra $100 off. And if you don't sign up today, you would end up paying full price. So that's my information on Fortunes and the Follow-Up Mastery. I just really encourage you to take this information, make the decision that's best for you, your goals, your dreams, your why, your reason for being, your future goals, and living your best life. Thanks, guys, for allowing me to share.